Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here today. My name is Nicolina, and I am a pre-medicine student majoring in chemistry with a minor in psychology. I graduate this semester, and it is crazy to think that the last 4 years flew by so fast. It is really hard to summarize my U of M Dearborn journey in just a few minutes, but there are definitely some common themes that have come up in every experience I have had at the school, and that is community and failure. When I was a senior in high school, I went through that whole crisis of trying to figure out what school was right for me to attend. But I remember the day that I knew that U of M Dearborn would be my school. I was here for an information session for the honors program with my father. And we were sitting in the auditorium in Castle listening to some professors put some philosophical information at us. And it was the first time I had ever been to U of M Dearborn. And anybody who knows me knows that I am a big ball of tears 24/7. When I distinctly remember, I started crying a little bit and I just kind of looked at my dad and said, "This is my school." And U of M Dearborn has been a second home to me ever since. Community has played a critical role in my growth as I pushed through academics here. The only person who I knew at this school was my dear friend Trevor Johnson, but we weren't in the same college or degree path, so I did not have any familiar faces in my classes, which made me feel a bit lonely. But one day, this pink-headed lady approached me as I was sitting out at a table outside working on some homework, and she invited me to join her and her friends in the university center. This lady was not some stranger to me, but I knew nothing other than her name. And I said, "Yes, I'll join you." And she's been my best friend ever since. And this is a picture of her and I. Her name is Bridget. You probably know her. She's all over campus. But that day she approached me was the day that I learned that people need people to survive. I tried to tell myself when I started college that doing it alone would be better for me, that doing it alone would mean I wouldn't fail, and it would mean that I would accomplish all of my goals and still be as happy as ever. But I learned the hard way that I was very wrong about this. Being a student in the midst of a pandemic was hard, especially when community was lacking. While I wasn't alone in my struggles, I did almost everything alone. I sat at my desk in the corner of my office for hours on end, pushing through Zoom lectures and videos and homework assignments, and I was doing it all alone. I craved the library atmosphere where my friends and I would spend maybe 20 minutes being productive and 3 hours growing in friendship and laughter. I missed being able to walk from building to building, passing by friends and professors, and having those 2-minute conversations with familiar faces. My community was lacking, and while I thought it would be okay because I would have more time to focus on my goals, it only made me more depressed and sucked the motivation out of me. This led to my realization of how important failing is. I failed, and I failed hard. And I don't mean just in the sense of failing a class or an exam. I mean in the sense of failing myself. I was doing myself a disservice by keeping myself isolated from people. In this age of technology, it's super easy to video chat a friend and still be able to do mundane tasks together. There were ways for me to stay connected with my community, but I was just too afraid to try them. This lack of connection I felt with people affected my academics. I quickly lost confidence in myself and my abilities, and I fell into this trap of imposter syndrome and comparing myself to my peers, and it just furthered the depression I was experiencing. I began to question if it was even worth continuing my education, but being a part of Talent Gateway helped me to understand the importance of communicating those struggles, especially with your professors. I took a risk and met with a great professor, Professor Sheila Smith, where my confidence meter was hitting zero. And she reminded me of how important it is to not compare my journey to the journeys of my peers. It resolves nothing. She encouraged me to celebrate the things that I have accomplished and to not be afraid to discuss these issues with my peers. I would be surprised to see that majority of students endure these same demons I was fighting. This encouraged me to get back into my community. I began reconnecting with friends again and discovering newfound joy in my campus involvement. I joined the First Gen Student Org, where I discovered a passion for philanthropy as I helped with Giving Blue Day the last 2 years. I was falling in love all over again with the career I was so passionate about. And Talent Gateway played a crucial role in this because it gave me an opportunity to reflect on the relationships and situations in my life and see how they were affecting different areas of my life. Self-reflection was key in understanding why community and failure were such important lessons for me. And if it weren't for Talent Gateway, I don't think I would have been able to recognize those things, or how things like communication and critical thinking are key skills that can be applied to any aspect of my life. My time at U of M Dearborn has sadly come to an end, but I do have exciting plans for the coming years. I hope to apply for medical school in a few years. I'll be taking the MCAT in September. But in the interim, I hope to work as a chemist while also finding time to volunteer at local hospitals and just be more involved with my church community. And if there's anything you leave with today, it is this: the time you spend at the school goes by fast. And so while it happens, make sure that the journey is uniquely yours. Build community, Learn the importance of failing and picking yourself back up and moving forward and chase your dreams. The college experience is meant to open more doors for you, not to close them. Thank you.